Hey guys, guess who just came back from locals and lost to Dinomist? This guy did, and oh man, it was glorious. It's like I've never been more thoroughly destroyed in my life until I played against Dinomist. If you guys want that Dinomist deck profile, we will get that up on this video as long as we get some likes on this video. This is the story brought to by everybody in my locals that said, Robbie, we expect to hear a video from you getting thoroughly trounced by Dinomist. And this is my story. Please cry for me in my comment section. I deserve it. This is the story about how one Sky Striker Cole 40 is just terrible at this game and should probably quit. So, this is for my locals out there. For those of you that do want the Dinomist deck profile, I do have it. Get some likes on this. Like I said, I will get that up. Now, quick little introduction to Saturday locals. Snodgrass always plays the most, I want to say, interesting decks per se. I've seen him with Magical Musketeers. He did go to Thunder Dragons for a little while to test it. Then he went to Praying Kids. He's my Akashi as well, somewhere along the way in there. But he always brings the most interesting things to the table. And today he was playing against Dinomist. I made the terrible, unfortunate mistake of underestimating the little Dinomist guys. Now, you're probably looking at 95% of the Dinomist cards at this point. You're probably being like, oh, they're all relatively large monsters. And yes, you're absolutely right. About 95% of the armada of Dinomist cards is, God, they're usually like 5 to 6 stars. Their pendulum scales go anywhere from 3 to 6. And the thing that kind of makes the deck relatively easy is if one of them will be destroyed, the pendulum scale can take the blow for it. And they even have another one, one of their scales, at least I think 3 of them, all include some sort of effect of, oh, if your opponent would target a card, I believe that's a Dinomist on your field, you can destroy it instead. Like, what are you doing giving... This is a video, it's just like, maybe Dinomist are actually pretty good, because, what was it, a while back we had Dinomist doing relatively well at a YCS, and a lot of people were like shocked, but there's a reason for that. I mean, okay, when you give a deck built-in protection and it scales, you would think under like Master Rule 4 that it wouldn't be that great. Well, they actually have a fucking fantastic support card called Dinomist Howling. And when I got this card flipped against me, I was like, oh, okay, so on activation, it gives you the ability to place 1 or 2 pendulum scales for Dinomist from your deck on the field. And you're like, okay, sure, this is pretty cute. We will, progress the game state. And as a trap card, so you're inherently like, oh, that's fine. Well, this card also has another effect of, you contribute a Dinomist that you control. And this is if this is already face up on the field. And you get the ability to target 1 card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So the reason why this deck ended up actually doing really well is once Dinomist kind of literally starts setting up, they get to abuse this trap card, which puts free pendulum scales on the field, which guarantees them a basic recovery play on the next turn, which I actually think is pretty cute. In addition to you getting bounceability. Now, unfortunately, call it what it is, this card kind of outright beats Sky Strikers and Thunder Dragons, both of the decks that he actually ended up beating for the day. Against Sky Striker, well, I ended up losing to Evenly Matched because Evenly's a good card, but Howling, after the resolution of Evenly to place the pendulum scales to pendulum summon on the next turn, in addition to like other things that the deck can do, was pretty nuts. Now, in the Thunder Dragon games I was watching, basically, It depends on how many Titans your opponent can kind of set up to kind of disrupt your field. But if you go first and you have this trap card and you can start bouncing whatever your opponent would set up, that's going to be a troublesome combination of cards, or hear me out here. That's your main play, and you don't really have much more. I mean, what more are you going to do? But yes, the deck actually has a built-in Kieran that actually does work, and it's actually kind of stupid. I wish you could, kill pendulum scales with it, but we're not getting that far. And then evidently Dinomist, something else was kind of... They have a card called Dinomist Charge, and when I first looked at this, I was like, okay, this isn't going to be much of a problem because on activation it says you can add a Dinomist card from your deck to your hand. So, kind of looking at this, I also kind of forgot about how good Howling was. I was like, okay, cool. They have an on-basic search Rhoda. This card also does other stuff. Once per turn, if a Dinomist card is added from the field to the extra deck face up, you get to add one of those cards to your hand. You can only activate one Dinomist charge per turn. So, evidently, if you got two of these on the field, you can proc both of them. This deck is actually kind of scary for the longer that the game goes. But yeah, hey, let's just give their onboard Rhoda the ability to add back from the extra deck. Can't believe I lost a Dinomist. So there's that. Yes, our searcher also recurs back from the extra deck. I guess we have to load up on potential things to kind of take advantage of the situation. Now, in accordance and all fairness with this deck, everything is relatively large. One of the things that caught my attention was actually the big Dinomist Rex himself. This was the big bad boss monster. So his pendulum effect is the once per turn. When a card in your pendulum zone you control is when a card in your pendulum zone, you can negate and activate a card effect that targets another of your Dinomist cards and destroy this. So yeah, if your opponent targets, you do something. And then the big guy says, if this card attacks at the end of the damage step, you contribute one other Dinomist card to activate one of these effects. This card can attack the opponent's monster again in a row, and you'll get piercing damage to your opponent. Or you can shuffle one card in your opponent's hand at random into, from their hand or their side of the field into the deck. And then this card will gain 100 attack points. But shout out to this guy, though, because after I got even lead, Rex decided it would be a good idea to hit my one of three cards in my hand, which was my Engage, and shuffle it back, leaving me with There Can Only Be Ones. Now, if you want to beat this deck, this is the best part. So, There Can Only Be One, actually, as much as I figured out here, everybody's machine, everybody's actually water. And seeing a bunch of machine water monsters kind of brought a couple of things to my mind. Now, had things not been evenly matched, I would have had a Solemn, would have had Twin Twisters, like the essential stuff to beat the deck. And then, There Can Only Be One came a little bit too late. But if the deck does get There Can Only Be One, you unfortunately go into a really shitty position that you can't really recover from because, only being able to have one machine shuts off your Nova plays, your other crazy things, and overall things like that. I do want to say, though, in defense for Dinomist players, your trap card is probably one of the best things you have. I greatly underestimated the fact that bouncing is good in the year 2018. Placing pendulum scales is also really good. I also underestimated going second because evenly matched is a hell of a card. Also, watching Thunder Dragons get bounced, watching your opponent not be able to statically play around in Infinity, and the bouncing, pretty cute. I gotta give it to Dinomist. Definitely. Not going to say I'm going to go try them. I think one of the cutest things that they had was the one that can power down your opponent's stuff based on the number of Dinomist cards that you control. I found that one to be a little bit interesting. And statically built-in protection for battle, what were they thinking? I do think that the scales, the protection effects are on different ones, so that, you can't place two of the same scales And like, I mean, you can place both of the same scales and lock yourself out if you need like that level of protection. Also, shout out to the deck for getting access to Electromite, because ever-fucking-dently, you, with charge, you get to recur back all these fun cards as well as you're loading up your extra deck from whatever the hell is going on with Electromite. My mind is still slightly blown from that. Thank you, Electromite, for being limited. You can also play Dimensional Barrier against the deck, but yeah, this is the story about Robbie got his ass beat by Dinomist, and now I'm not going to side for the deck every week, no more than actually siding evenlies and things like that. Game 2 I sided in evenly, and my opponent made Infinity, and I couldn't out the Infinity. I didn't draw Widow Anchor. Sad day. But, you know, fucking round 3 against Thunder Dragons, I can draw 3 Widow Anchors and pull them all off and steal double Titan Colossus. Interesting time in my life, that's for sure. Alright guys, that's all I got for this video. Please enjoy thoroughly taunting me in my comment section about losing to Dinomist. I look forward to hearing about it. Please. Life is fantastic. Alright guys, I'm out. Peace. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a Truffle Shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out VanCole40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.